Yes, people, welcome to Theatre Studios. It's your boy Pa. Today, we're going to be reacting to the Gaffer's press conference. 2 days before the Arsenal game, obviously he's got to give a press conference. We're going to find out a little bit more. But before we get into that, let's talk about Baleba. Just quickly, quick 60 seconds. Okay, Baleba. Now, it looks like the bid is going to go in. Fabrizio has reported, we don't know about the numbers. He doesn't know about the numbers. But he said Man United are going to try. That's good enough for me. Man United are going to try. Look, Brighton, the reports say Brighton keep insisting that they're not going to sell Baleba. And I think that's fine. Because for Brighton, they're in a position of power. I think he's got about three odd years left on his deal. So if Man United, if we don't meet the price, they can just say, well, we don't want to sell him anyway this summer. They don't care. So Brighton hold all the cards. But what we can do is, if we're serious and the bid that we do, like the first bid is most likely going to get rejected. But if it's close enough, they will listen. And if we hit that number, if we hit that target, they will sell him. They will sell him. So we'll see. Now, the press conference. This is in the press conference, but it's also transfer news. So he was asked about Rasmus Højlund, and this is what Ruben Amorim had to say, yeah? He said, he's one more option. We will see. We are focused on this game, and Rasmus is still our player. I like that. I absolutely love that from Amorim. He's one more option. He's a good liar. Rasmus is gone. Let's just be honest. He's gone. And for me, I hope he softened his stance on, oh, I don't want to leave. I'm at my boyhood club. Dream club, this is the club that I support. Forget all of that. There's fantasy and there's reality. Personally, we failed Rasmus Højlund, in my opinion. We failed Rasmus Højlund. We did. Because I don't think under Ineos, we would have never signed a 19-year-old. He might have been 19 or 20 at the time we signed him. Probably 19. That scored 9 goals, right? Hardly was a starter for Atlanta. And just throw him there. Throw him in. Your Man United is number 9. This shirt is heavy. The shirt is heavy. You can't do that. So 50% blame to Man United. 50% obviously rests on Rasmus because this is his responsibility. But I do think there's potential there. There was like European campaigns where he was scoring. I think in our first Champions League campaign, he was like one of the top scorers in the group stages before we got knocked out. So I think that there is potential there. So if I'm him, go abroad, go Italy. Or I wouldn't even mind seeing Rasmus getting loaned to a Fulham on an obligation or an option, because he's going to be in the Prem and he's going to have this chance in a less pressure environment to prove himself in the Premier League as well. So I don't even mind that, yeah. But it's over. It's better for your career. You just got to go. So that's on Rasmus. Now, the midfield signing. So he was asked about a potential midfield signing. He goes, I'm really happy with our players. They're working really well and we have players in that position. So we were prepared to win the game with our players. All right, cool. That's just like a politically correct answer. Come on, man. You know you want that midfielder. You know you're going to get that midfielder. Toby Collier is gone. Out on loan. Even if Collier didn't go, we've been needing a midfielder. We need legs. I say 2. So get Baleba this summer, and then next summer we can go look at someone else that's got more legs. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Bruno might go to Saudi. Okay, and now he was questioned on Sesko. No, before that, let's do the injuries. He said Nus and Licha, so that's Nus Mazraoui and Lisandro Martinez are out for this game. Understandable. I don't know what's going on with Mazraoui though, because for me, I just feel like he played too many games last season. He's never played that amount of games in a season in his life. So Nus is out, Licha's out. Quick recovery for them, for both players, because I feel like they're both starters, in my opinion. They're both starters in that team, or one of them. Yeah, they're pretty close to the starting lineup. Okay, so now Amorim was questioned on Sesko. Talking about Sesko, him and Zirkzee are available. They're available to start. That's on Amorim. Whether they start or not, we don't know. So He said, first of all, this is on Sesko. He said, first of all, we have more than 3, Cunha, Mbeumo, Sesko. So they are fighting for their places. Okay, but I'm really happy. I think he has great potential in everything he does. He can play different types of football. He will feel the Premier League is very aggressive. He's going to learn and he has great potential. Of course, it's going to be different. He's played in multiple Champions League. He's played in a very competitive Leipzig team in the Bundesliga and in the Champions League at times. But he's got 2 other signings that's arrived. That's Cunha and Mbeumo. Now, they're both like 4 years older than him. And they're big money. And it's similar money to Sesko, right? So, when the pressure's on, I'm not just looking at Sesko. I'm looking at Cunha and Mbeumo as well. And Bruno and all the other senior players. So this is what Rasmus didn't have, but Sesko has it, which is just an advantage. And then Amorim went on to talk about Sesko's asking questions. I really like that, especially when it's smart question. He listens and he wants to perform, so that is very good. And he also went on to say that Sesko's obsessed with football. And this is why I never had a problem with Sesko. Like when I found out his role model, his idol was Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you can't go wrong with Zlatan. Obviously, you can't go wrong in the fact that if you're not as good as Zlatan, but you feel like you think you're Zlatan, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because the reason why Zlatan can talk the most crap is because he backed it everywhere he's been. Everywhere he's been, he's backed it. So if a young player like Sesko is kind of like looking up to Zlatan, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because the chances are he's going to set high standards for himself. He's going to be confident. He's going to aim high. He's going to want to perform, and failure is not going to be an option. Come on. That's a recipe for success. Again, so Bruno's role again. They asked him about Bruno's role. This question I feel like is going to have this all season, to be fair. He goes, even last season when he played as a midfielder, he was the player who had the most shots near the box. So I think it's a good thing for Bruno to stay in one position during training. I want Bruno near the ball, which is really important for our team. Now we have players with different characteristics who can cope with that. So we will try to manage game by game the players for the best positions. Okay, well, there you go. I feel like, look, people that say Bruno can't play in a disciplined way, I don't believe that. I just feel like Man United, and Bruno suffered from this, by the way. If we look at Man United the last 4 or 5 years, who's been the main man? It's Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has been a main man, okay? So just imagine yourself, you're the main man in a team. You're going to feel like you could do whatever you want, especially if you're letting off shots they're going in, if you're taking every penalty, if you're digging the team out of a hole. You're going to feel like, oh, I can go anywhere, I can go get the ball, I can do this, I can turn, I can play the long ball, even though the short ball is more sensible and it's on. I'm going to try the optimistic long ball. You're going to feel like that. So it's down to the manager. Watch Bruno for Portugal. He doesn't play like a lunatic. He doesn't play this hot ball where he just wants to get rid of it. No, he doesn't do that. He sticks to his position, gives them goals. It still is Bruno, which I don't think you ever want to remove from Bruno because that's his edge. But he has to be more disciplined. It's as simple as that. I think a disciplined Bruno that gives them goals more times than trying the ambitious ball, especially when it's not on. I think that's where we have problems. Okay, this is a very important question, by the way, this question here. This was from Stephen Ralston. Mount to play in deep midfield. I've never thought of that, so let's see what the answer is. What Ruben said. Maybe Mason Mount's a player who can play that position if we want something different. Okay, but we have players to cope and win games in the Premier League. Okay, interesting. Okay, he was also asked about Gyökeres, and well, he just said that obviously Gyökeres is a very good player, but this is the Premier League, is a different league. Yeah, and he's not surprised to see him at a big club in England. And then we got his season target. He goes, we want to return to Europe. Okay, that's fair enough. So yeah, we'll see. Also, lastly, on Sesko, he did say, I can see Ben being a striker for this club for many years. This is why we have paid a lot of money for him. He didn't have lots of time training, but physically he's ready. That is a big component in our league. He's ready to play. We'll see if he starts. I'm excited for Sesko being fit. I'm excited for Zirkzee being fit. I feel like Joshua Zirkzee, people are forgetting how good Joshua Zirkzee can be in this team. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. And Joshua Zirkzee being an option to come off the bench in the Arsenal game, that's a huge plus. That's a huge plus for us. And I hope he does take part in the game or is involved in the game. So we have to see. There you have it. Those are your Ruben Amorim press conference quotes. The game is two days away. We need to get off to a flyer. I still believe we're going to get a result in that game. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well. Would absolutely appreciate it. By the way, once the laptop gets back, I'll get off the phone. We'll do live streams, everything. So yeah, peace.